You good? Our next is the police report. Chief, please.
Good evening.
Hi, Chief.
Hey, how you doing? In the month of March, the police department had 164 calls for service. We investigated 9 crimes, had 4 arrests, 158 traffic stops. 35 of those stops were part of an aggressive driving detail on Route 100, coordinated by PennDOT, and we investigated 4 accidents. Thank you.
Thank
Chief, is
you.
there anything
Busy.
out of the unusual on this month here?
No,
No? Okay.
Other than a lot of traffic stops, you guys have really been out there busy. Thank you.
they have, and I'll pass that along. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, next is the bills list. Do I have a motion to accept the bills list?
I motion to approve the bills list for all township funds in the amount of $559,542.93.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, anything for the audience? Seeing none?
John,
John, I'm sorry. Gotta be a little quicker.
My name is John Eldridge, 1634 Hilltop Road. I noticed under the bills and open space, all you did is put in the January P and L, which for 171,000, I guess that's okay. It doesn't really tell you who we're paying or give you other detail than normal bills.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Next is the treasurer report. Manager?
Mr. Chair, the ARPA fund, the opening balance is $126,055.61. Booking revenue of $496.62 for any balance of $126,552.23. Capital equipment fund, opening balance was $497,766.70. Revenue is $24,297.10. No expenditures. Any balance is $522,063.17. Capital reserve, opening balance is $2,436,560. Revenue is $2,755.22. Expenditures were $10,987.32. For any balance of $2,428,328.56. General fund, the opening balance is $294,576.78. Revenue is $517,504.83. Expenditures $218,420.74 for any balance of $593,660.87. Liquid fuels, opening balance of $131,984.54. Revenue is $647.92, or no expenditures. For any balance of $132,632.46. Rebill account, the opening balance is $799,906.19. There were no revenues. Expenditures $2,733.78. And any balance is $797,172.41. And the road fund opening balance is $3,340,768.39. Revenue was $100,000. $136,130.10. Expenses were $6,800. Any balance $3,470,098.49. Sewer fund, the opening balance is $192,500.23. Revenue $607,095. Any balance $193,108.18. Report.
Thank you. Any comment?
John Eldridge, 1634 Hilltop Road, Burtonville. Well, I noticed now that you gave a beginning fund balance and an ending fund balance, and it's still sort of asked on saying the income or loss for that fund is such and such. I think that's a sort of an appropriate number to give, but maybe not. A question, we had a $25,000 forensic audit. Can we get the results of that, or are the results from that?
Yes, there are results, and we're working on a statement that we can read in public. The last one, we weren't really happy with the construction of it. I know I promised you last month that we'd have everything squared away, and as you know, I approached you outside of the meeting to let you know we weren't there yet. Yes, we will have it. I really truly hope we'll have it for you next meeting. I see no reason why we won't.
Okay. Thank you. Back to the funds balance. Normally in accounting, if you have $1 of income, it decreases your net worth or your fund balance by $1. I sent out a form, I don't know that you've seen it here, but it shows the variation from that practice. Is there a way I could get an explanation of that?
Not for me here tonight.
Not tonight. I don't think it would be, you'd be able to.
Yeah.
Because it seems like fairly often that the income and the fund balances don't track. And I think, if you're gonna lose $200,000, that not tracking it would be a step toward that. I know in the statement again, I guess they're all March year to date, but January through March of last year is March. It's sort of misnamed, and so the comparisons aren't really of much value on this report. Okay, I still have the question. I'm still sort of trying to get answers on this open space allocation, which maybe I'll find out that myself.
Mr. Chairman, I can address the open space issue.
Please, thank you.
We have a tax collector on the earned income tax. By law, we can't see their information. It's your taxes personal. We don't get those reports. All we get from the tax collector is this is the amount of money that was collected and goes to the open space fund, and this is the amount of money that was collected and goes to the general dividend. There is one anomaly here, and that is for people who do not live in the township but work in the township. They do not pay the 0.5% open space fee, that's by law. However, the 1% taxes withheld from their earnings, and the township is the recipient of that 1%. None of that money goes to the school district. So theoretically, there should be a relationship between the open space fund and the general fund, and the open space revenue and the should be a balance or a relationship between the money from the open space fund and the general fund. There is not, because of that anomaly. Last year, there were 111 people who worked in the township but did not live here. The township received $39,700 in real estate tax from that group of people. That dollar amount skews relationship between the two funds. And that goes on every year as soon as the open space fund was established. Then that's state law, we can't do anything about that. The open space tax collector is audited annually. Get a copy of the report. The way the tax collector is chosen is done again through state law. Every member in the county who collects the open space fund, earned income tax, is a member of what's called the Chester County Tax Collection Group. On it, they get together on a periodic basis and select and review and select the tax collector. I think it's for a term, I think of 10 years. And that is how that is collected. We don't go out, we don't collect it, put an RFP on ourselves. It's done on a countywide basis, and that is a requirement of the state law. That's a little bit different than most other taxes are collected, but that's how it's done in Commonwealth and here in the county.
Does that answer your question, John?
It does, but on one point, when I pay my open space, I pay that tax, the 1.25%. I don't identify how much is open space, how much is school tax, how much is township. The Keystone collects, I guess,
They do that.
does that.
That's correct.
And so I don't know why they can't always take 1/3 of that and put it into our open space. And for years, up until this November of last year, it was 1/3. And I sent an email last month. It was 0.4% off until like through March of last year. And then it goes off by 25%. And there's been no change in our population of 25% in December. And now in January, February, March.
There was one misposting of about $5,000 that will tell you that when you when you go to your employer, you fill out the tax form, you say where you live, it goes to the tax collector. They know where to send the money to collect the 1.5%. They send it to you, they have a computer system, there's all this stuff, and they whack up the money, and some goes to the township, some goes to the school district. The money from the township gets split between the township general fund and the open space.
Does the township split it or does?
No, the tax collector, they give us a report. X number goes in general fund, Y number goes into the open space.
Can you know why there's been such a big change from last year to this year?
No, I can't do that.
Okay. Okay. One other thing. Could I somehow have some input of what columns go on here? When Michelle did it some years ago, it seemed like a much more user friendly. They had the month.
Done. I am trying to break through the treasurer's prior work this year and how she presented information. She's struggling, not struggling, but she has a lot of work to do right this minute. The report that you have in your hand comes out of QuickBooks. It's a canned report. I've been trying to get her to get into a management position where in management thinking where she will project the report that you like, because I've been using that for 40 years. The report you have is useless to me. I need to see the report that lists the information on it. Here's the budget, here's the month, here's the year to date, here's what's remaining, here's what we spent last year. That month here. I need to see that information on a weekly basis. Getting there is just taking a little bit of time because she has so much work to do now. We are changing the payroll system this month. We are working with the bank to improve our banking relationship. Those are much more important to me than making sure that the report is accurate. I meet with her on a daily basis to make sure that the bank system is going well. But the change in the payroll system is taking a little bit longer than anticipated. And I want to make sure that our banking system is up and operational before we take on any new tasks.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, managers report, please.
Me again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So what's on the agenda, I work with the highway department on the road program. We're getting near the end. We sent out just this past week about a dozen easements for the road construction project and the Fellowship Trail project. I work with the engineer on that as well as, and also the Oakline Park project. We're doing some administrative tasks, as I said earlier, about the payrolls. So that's about it.
Okay, thank you.
Bernie,
Yes,
could we ask the manager to announce that we're doing a workshop on the 5th of June for the clean energy transition plan?
sure. Well, appreciate that.
I got it.
Did y'all get it? I'll come closer to my microphone. I like listening to it. The clean energy transition team's been working very hard on a transition plan, and there will be a workshop on the first Monday of June, the 5th at 7 o'clock, right here, so they can tell us about what they've done and where we're going. So I invite you all. We're going to invite the other township committees so that it affects the organization of it, the municipal operations, and the second phase of it is the community at large. So it does affect everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, library report.
Hello, Kelly Quigg. I'm the Community Engagement Librarian for the Chester County Library and Henrietta Hankin Branch. I have two updates on news that we have. First is the Chester County Library System has added a completely free movie streaming service called Canopy Plus. Titles change every month, and they have rotating options of 250 to 300 titles available on all of your streaming devices, including mobile, tablet, and even smart TVs. Just need your library card number. Second is our Maker in Residence program. We have decided that Megan Rab Greenhold is selected as the inaugural Maker in Residence. She is a multidisciplinary artist that explores printmaking, textiles, collage, painting, and sculpture. Her residency includes workshops at both Chester County Library in Exton and Henrietta Hankin Branch just here down the street. And she does have drop-in hours in Exton as well. 4 workshops in Exton will be for teens and adults, and there will be 2 family workshops here at Hankin. Megan's workshops will incorporate the Juneteenth theme of journeying towards freedom through the history of indigo growing and dying by enslaved people in South Carolina to the modern day practice, and also the reclaiming of indigo as a medium amongst African American artists in the South. If you happen to see Megan working in the library, feel free to say hello. I do have handouts regarding both of these items if you'd like to chat with me after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next on to, excuse me, old business. Accept the bid for the asphalt maintenance solutions LLC. In the amount of $317,093.18 for the 2023 road program.
I make the motion to accept the bid from Asphalt Maintenance Solution LLC in the amount of $317,093.18 for the 2023 road program.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Barry, you're up here.
Barry Miller Road, 1012 Pottstown Pike, Chester Springs. I didn't see that road program on the website. Was I missing it? John, is it on there? Because I didn't see what exactly the roads program is.
Don't know. The board authorized its approval last 2 months ago. Listed all the roads. It saw the microsurfacing stuff that was done in Weatherstone last year. It was the same application on these roads. I'll have it posted tomorrow. The roads, that's all I know.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, Dana, we want to amend the agenda?
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, I wanted to bring up some old business where we previously approved the community day in October at Opalani Park. And I would like to bring it to a vote that we change the venue of that back to Evans Park. I feel that Opalani is not quite ready, and it's really not in the best spot near all of our density where people will see it. So there's a multitude of reasons why I don't feel like we're ready to have an event of that size at Opalani in October. And I would like to bring that to a vote that we amend that decision to have it at Evans Park.
Is that your motion?
I'm sorry, I
Okay,
would just
please.
be a stickler and say that I think the first motion should be that it should be added to the
Okay.
agenda.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to add to the agenda to change the venue for Community Day to Evans Park.
I second that motion.
Okay. Do I hear anything from the audience? Seeing none? all
Wait,
in-
wait, that was adding it to the agenda. Now we need the motion.
Still to vote on it though.
That's what we did.
Yep, and we voted on it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 All right, now, further.
So it's two items in
Yes.
the minutes. I'm making sure that Christina's.
Okay, and then I'm making the motion that
Oh.
we,
Well,
I'm
now you have to
sorry.
remake the motion.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
okay, making the motion that we vote on changing the venue of Community Day in October from Opalani Park to Evans Park.
Do I have a
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. Moving on to new business, adopt resolution 10-2023, escalator clause for road project. Before I entertain the motions, would you explain that, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This will be for the upcoming road projects that we'll be doing on Rolling Springs, Hollow Road, and St. Andrews Road. Typically, there are escalator clauses when the cost of the oil and making the asphalt is in fluctuation. So they set a price in the contract. The contract language has certain points in it. If the change is warranted in a point, the price of the contract goes up. Likely, if the oil goes down, the price of the contract goes down. It's a standard procedure. The board adopted it last year. They do it on an annual basis for the road projects when the price fluctuation in oil is all over the place. Standard language coming from PennDOT. The same language is used throughout the county or throughout the state, these type of projects.
Good, thank you. So I'll entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
I make a motion to authorize the advertisement, to approve resolution 10-2023 escalator clause for the road projects.
And I'll second that.
Okay, any comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Number 8, authorize advertisement of road materials bid.
I'm gonna try that because I got my tongue straight for a moment. I make the motion to authorize advertisement of the road materials bid.
And I will second that.
Okay, any comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Number 9, appoint Chris Taylor to Sustainability Committee for the term ending December 31 of 2025. Have a motion?
I'll make the motion to appoint Chris Taylor to the Sustainability Committee for the term ending 12/31/25.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 10, approve contribution of $1,000 to the French and Pickering Creeks Conservation Trust. This is something we do on a yearly basis. So I need a motion to.
I make the motion to approve a contribution of $1,000 to French and Creeks Conservation Trust.
And a second,
I have to abstain from that, but I will second that.
you're abstaining.
Yeah, I
Okay.
abstain
All
for
right, so I'll second the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, carried. Last, now zoning hearing board application 1245 Schoolhouse Lane - Lipton. I have a motion.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, we're just
No,
acknowledging.
no, we're just acknowledging it.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Oh, can I make one more mention about French and Pickering for a second?
Sure.
Okay, so, and I'm abstaining from that just because I do business with them, but I did want to mention that I did hear that there was a lot of controversy last year about the painting, and they have come up with a new solution for that. They're going to be using arrows that stick to the ground and are biodegradable and will disappear. So they're no longer going to be painting on the roadways.
Thank
They
you.
want me to share that.
Okay, now I guess we're on to public comment. So Barry coming up here?
Just real quick, if you have any briefing on what's going on with my neighboring property where the urgent care was going. I'm really looking forward to that. Is that a dead issue? Do you know?
I know nothing.
The last time we had a conversation with a property owner, he was going to put in a self-storage facility
Yeah, I got the notice on that too.
that I think it's in review, and whatever his problem is with their engineer, so I don't know if he's submitted the plans and met with our engineer, and it's going through that process, and I'm lost track of it. If nothing comes up, it's because they're not doing something.
I thought the self-storage was on the back lot, though, the urgent care is.
Urgent.
Oh, that
All
was
he
that.
has for us is the self-storage, and there's space to do other stuff, but other stuff is not on the back.
Yeah, the last time they presented, they said that there was another urgent care that was too close that was coming in, so they were killing that and just going for the self-storage, but we haven't heard from them in a long time.
That's a shame, because that would be nice up there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the update.
George Stephanus.
What was the zoning application for?
zoning hearing board.
Zoning hearing board application?
1245 Schoolhouse Lane.
No, was there any detail? It wasn't posted on the website.
I don't think they usually are posted.
Or would anyone know? what-
It is for consideration of infringement on the wetlands buffers
So for a construction project?
for work that they're going to do on their property.
I mean, I guess I could just avoid having to come up here and ask if we just post it with all the other documents when you get this sort of thing.
We don't control
It'll be posted, the hearing will be posted in the paper, but the hearing is set.
Yeah, I know.
and our zoning hearing board solicitor handles all of
I
that. We don't handle that.
That's, but what I'm just asking is when you get a piece of paper that's relevant to the meeting like that. It'd be nice if you could just post it with the documents that are relevant to the meeting instead of. Saying, wait till we advertise it or something. It just avoids a question. I'm up here asking now, add a minute to the meeting.
Thank you.
The other question is. We have a place on the website that says sign up for township updates. And I used to get them, and I thought maybe they lost my email. I registered a bunch of times, but I don't think I've gotten an email from the township. I've gotten one in maybe half a year.
Maybe we're not doing anything.
No, you should be getting a newsletter regularly if you're
But we
signed
used to
up.
get postings like when meetings were happening and.
Mhm. Whatever you would have checked,
I
you have to
checked
check the
every
box,
box.
so then you should be getting, we'll check with Maria and see
I'll
if
check
we
it
can.
tomorrow.
So they
There's-
are going out. though,
Yeah, have you
regularly.
checked your spam folder at all for that?
No.
Yeah, oh, that could
Right.
be an
I
issue,
mean,
but.
so
we
other
could
people are
definitely
getting, it's
check.
just me.
I get them
Yeah.
regularly.
All right.
Okay, thank you, George.
Hello, my name is Isaac Redinger. I live at 19 Red Rock Lane with my wife Sarah, our unborn child, and my father-in-law Walt Pronsky. I will have lived in this township for 10 years this fall. My wife and her family are 25-year residents. Over this time, we have seen significant population growth within the West Vincent Township. I'm calling for the township and its residents to enact a noise ordinance as well as revising and updating our disturbing the peace ordinance. Case in point, we have a neighbor who enjoys using his home as a firing range for 90 minutes to over 2 hours. We have called the police on various occasions and expressed our concerns. We have been told they are shooting in the right direction. This despite being within 600 feet of 2 homes and 400 feet of a third, which by the way is less than the Game Commission's regulation. We have not been informed if they are using a correct backstop as outlined by the Game Commission, which should be designed to prevent any stray round from going more than 15 yards in any direction at an angle of up to 45 degrees. I'm a gun owner myself, and I would never do this to a neighbor and have never done it to a neighbor. Additionally, the noise causes stress to the surrounding pets and horses, which there are a few of those around. I have heard confirmation from our neighbors that they are able to hear it from Beaver Hill Road. We often compare ourselves to Upper Euclid Township and pride ourselves in being rural in comparison to our overdeveloped neighbor. How do we actually compare? Well, we can't compare population numbers directly due to Upper Euclid being just 65% of the size of West Vincent Township by square mileage, we can use population density as benchmark. Since the 2000 census, the township has grown 210%. From 3,170 people to 6,668 residents. And the growth rate as a percentage has been steadily increasing. If we continue to follow this trend, we will experience growth of 148% by decade's end, giving us a population of 9,869 residents. By 2030, our township will have 10,000 residents. As I mentioned, we're already contributing our +1. Based on census data from 2020, we're the same population density as Upper Euclid was in 1990. Based on the above stated growth model, we are on track to have a population density of 554 people per square mile by the 2030 census. Why is this important? The USDA, the Department of Agriculture, classifies a rural area as having less than 2,500 people. We're past that. We surpassed it in the 90s, actually. And less than 500 people per square mile. We're going to pass that by 2030. We are barely hanging on to our rural status, but likely will not be able to call it that by the decade's end. We're on track to add our entire year 2000 population in this decade. Based on all of this, I implore the township and its residents to act now to update our various ordinances which date back more than 2 decades. Ordinances such as disturbing the peace. I also urge us to consider creating a noise ordinance as well as others designed for urban areas now to be proactive instead of reactive to the current and future nuisances. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question, please?
Yes, sir.
What time of the day do you hear the gunfire?
Various times, usually mid-afternoon, sometimes in the evening as we're trying to sit down to dinner and to feed our dogs. One of them is severely affected by it, as she is with lightning. We've also heard it in the middle of the day. And this is also going to be increasingly annoying to us as we have a newborn that's trying to nap.
Of course.
Thank you.
I just want to let you know that
Yes.
you're not alone. There are many, many people throughout the township who have requested a noise ordinance.
That's honestly news to me. I've been told that we're the only ones complaining.
No,
Okay.
not at all, not in the least,
Okay.
not in the least.
And-
So
We do have a noise ordinance.
we do have a noise ordinance, but it's,
After 10
It's
o'clock.
very vague and it, yeah.
so, I personally am in sympathy with you. I
Okay.
understand, my dog freaks out from the rapid
Okay.
gunfire that goes on.
Yeah.
And we are we're doing everything we can for right now.
Okay.
Really, I mean, there's people in other areas that are more affected
Yeah.
than what you're found, not to.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear, actually.
So you're not alone. We are aware of it. We're working on it. We're trying to come up with something that'll work for everyone.
Okay,
So stay in touch with us.
thank you.
If you would send us your email so we can
Okay.
keep in touch that way.
Sure, I can do that. And I actually have a printout of this for all of you
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Nice
I
to meet you.
appreciate that.
Thank you, Brent.
Yeah,
Hi, I'm Becky Tosha. I live at 1024 Linden Avenue. I've never done something like this, so here we go. I am involved with the Litter Lickers of West Vincent Township, which is a group that organizes litter cleanups. We have 10 people on a committee. We've picked up 18 tons of litter, mainly in West Vincent Township. We've organized over 20 litter events. We are working hard with other townships that want to duplicate what we're doing, because the litter is a real issue in Chester County. We're working with young ambassadors with Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful. We're working with Chester County government officials, with the Planning Commission and the Sustainability Office. The reason I wanted to present is to address a resolution that hadn't been done in May of 2020. We became a subcommittee of the EAC in 2020, and for some reason, and I don't know exactly why, I want some answers. It didn't become an official subcommittee. So I'm concerned about, what the processes of getting that taken care of. And then also we use a liability and risk waiver, and I want to be assured that that is a valid document that we can continue to use at every cleanup that we have.
Can we ask Mark to address that, the waiver question?
You already looked at the waiver today.
Right, the waiver is, I mean, there's a whole body of law associated with waivers and. While I would like it to say that an individual specifically is a volunteer, I think the language is fine the way it's written.
Okay,
So we may update it just because we prefer to change the language, but it is completely valid as it is.
But that would protect the township from potential liability. In
And,
certain circumstances.
and when
But-
we set that up, it was intended for township roads only,
And it still is.
Yes.
right? Still is, so
Yeah,
that's,
Beth uses something else when she's in
Right,
other
yeah.
townships. I
I'm
believe.
aware of that. I just wanted to make sure that.
Right, and I think that also assumes that litter lifters has some association with the township as well. Well, I think there'd probably be no need to have a waiver.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a waiver if you didn't have an association.
right,
That's why you're concerned about the
Exactly,
resolution. I understand.
because it never became an official subcommittee, and Dana, you were kind enough to call me,
Mhm.
you know, at the end of March and let me know that.
Well, and just to bring that up, to clarify what you said about that, it's not that the resolution never got, that the EU were voted in and the resolution didn't get produced. You were voted to
I don't think there
in
was
the
a vote.
EAC. The EAC voted that they'd like to recommend that to happen. And for whatever reason, it never went from there to be sent to the board to be voted on, to create a resolution. I'm trying to rectify that, to get the paperwork in order so that it can come before the board and we can give it the official vote that is required. And that's where we are right now.
Okay, so can you give me a timeline of that?
Well, it's paperwork that needs to be done and you can
Right.
ask.
I think we would be having an executive session first, and that'll take a little while to get on our schedules and stuff like that. It's not gonna happen instantly. I have a recollection. It's not different because Dana was there in May 2020. We had just gotten started on COVID. We were dealing with a lot of things, but I do not believe that the EAC voted that you would be a committee of the EAC. I believe they agreed to be your communication link to the township, which is different and it's special for your committee. No other group has that. We've got a couple of different ad hoc things, but so I think before we say that Sarah and Bernie didn't pass it, which I saw in one of the messages, we weren't given anything to pass. So what is it? I think it would be good if you and maybe Dorothy can help you. What is it that you're looking for that you don't have the way you're doing business now? So I'd be interested to hear that before we go any further.
I thought that we were an official subcommittee, that we've been operating as official subcommittee of the EAC, which never occurs.
I understand. I get that. What benefit would accrue to you by being an official subcommittee that you don't have now?
I think that from a standpoint that the township has supported us financially, it's really important.
Well, and
We
we
can-
are continuing to
Yeah,
support.
we're not going to change that. You have that advantage. What is it that so don't answer it now. Come back to us and tell us what it is that you're not getting.
I'm just gonna say, the only thing that I see that's ever presented an issue since 2020, when you've thought this, is that, we weren't able to get a liability waiver through our township because
It's not a.
I'm sorry, I keep
Certificate of
saying that.
insurance for the
Yes.
Carolyn Camillus.
Correct.
Yeah,
we weren't able to do that because our insurance couldn't cover you because you're not officially part of the township, but we are still able to fund a lot of the events that you're doing.
Yeah, you're not losing
Not
any
losing funding.
support.
And that was
You're-
outside of the township. Inside the township, you are.
So think about it.
Dorothy Lynn, 714 Sun Valley Court. I know one of the biggest concerns was also the liability rate. And I think you know, obviously clarified that, and if we rephrase it, need to rephrase it, then we can have people sign it. I think also, you know, Beth underestimated how much she has done. She has really driven this and has received awards from Chester County commissioners, different areas, Green Valley Watershed Association. So we just want to make sure that any loose ends get tied up, and I probably fell through the cracks, but we like it to get.
We celebrate all the wonderful things Beth has done and the impact she's had on getting the county involved and getting the connections with the state and the county. She's like practically a miracle worker in the literal.
Yeah, we are proud of you,
Because-
absolutely.
Because she's broken through some barriers that,
Because she doesn't take no for an answer.
Yeah. She doesn't-
Surprises, she finds a solution.
She doesn't
Right.
take yes for an
But-
answer
so
either. This is all good.
I want to make sure that
All
we
good.
know what the problems are we're being asked to solve. And I don't think anybody has ever else had to deal with a certificate of insurance for a tabling event before. So I don't expect
odd.
it's going to come up a lot. And Dana has taken it upon herself to be the representative there. So that's out of that barrier. Dana has taken down for you. So what I'm just, you know, if you tell us what you want us to get a certificate of insurance and next week it's a different thing. I want us to try to anticipate those things and find out what it is you need. And by the way, we'll take up these until next month, but
Notice that.
okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
I will keep in touch with you, definitely. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Comment? Seeing none, I'll entertain the adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
All in favor? Aye.
I,
Thank you, adjourn.
Friends, we are so happy.
oh, yeah.
Independent.
Literally.